Hello again. We're going to continue on here with some footage of further work on the pavilion area's fire pit. We're making sure that the slope is gentle and smooth on its way down this little bit of a hill. There was a little bit of a spot that collected some water over the winter, so we wanted to just take a minute to make sure we got that resolved, and then we'll make sure we get the fire pit built also. Now that we know where we needed to do the grading, Emily's just putting that laser level away. That was one of those things that we purchased early on, knowing that it was going to come in handy for a lot of different projects, and it's definitely been a beneficial one to have. Figured we'd start with the two bench halves. These are the butt end of the first tree that I ever fell on the property. Then split that in half with the intent that it would make some benches. And then it kind of sat around and, didn't do anything for several years. They actually were set up as benches originally before we worked on developing and expanding this particular area. So now comes the challenge of just figuring out where each rock kind of looks the best. There's no actual rhyme or reason as to where they're going, except I'm just trying to finish this off and just kind of make it look, decent. The requirement that we have for when there's a burn restriction is that it has to be 8 inches tall, so not all of the rocks were quite tall enough to do that. And now it's time to burn all the sticks and things that have been gathered and thrown in the burn barrel. It's taken a minute to just play with the fact that the smoke is flammable. It's not quite hot enough at the bottom to really burn clean, so there was a fair amount of smoke. And as long as there was a secondary flame up at that top, near the top, then it actually worked pretty well. This did take a few minutes to actually get going. I probably could have used the propane a little longer, but it worked pretty well. So what I'm doing now is bringing over some of the this is actually the septic sand that I was telling you about. We'd ordered some a while back for making the concrete in the pizza oven and smoker pads, and I had a small pile left over, so I'm using that and bringing it over to just kind of lock in the bottom row of rocks and make sure that we get that secured pretty well. And you gotta take a minute to enjoy a fire once you get one, especially when you have a kitty that is demanding that she get some attention. Of course, that never lasts very long, because heaven forbid she, actually show you that she wants attention. And this ended up actually being a little bit more of a time to relax than originally anticipated. This July was actually a really nice, mellow July, all things considered. even August was, for the most part, pretty mild. There's only been a few days we've needed to use the AC, which has been pretty awesome. Yesterday and today were both days that required some cooling, so we had to do some repairs to the rabbit's misting system. Got that all done yesterday, and ended up running them mist during the afternoon yesterday and today. Basically, I figure if it's hot enough that I need the AC on, then it's a day that I'm going to have to turn the mist on for the rabbits, so it's a pretty easy way to judge that. And Emily had picked up some brats and asked me to get a fire going, to get some coals going. And so I threw in some actual like scrap wood from the various projects. There's a pretty good pile over there in this footage. After having friends and family over for Labor Day weekend, that pile disappeared. But it was good while it lasted. We were somewhat liberal with having fires, and even though it was kind of a warm day, there were times where it was just nice to sit around a fire. There's just something calming and relaxing about it that you just don't get when you're in a city, or when you got a gas fireplace even. So back to bringing over dirt. The dirt does its job. It definitely helped lock that bottom layer of rock in. Although I'm toying with the idea of opening up one end of that to create a little cooking look. Excuse me. Cooking nook, like I had before, and this time I'll kind of make it a little bit more permanent, so we don't have an instance where a parent sees children playing with the rocks and thinks that the children ruined the fire ring by making it so that it wasn't a circle, and then fixes it by making it a circle again. But it's the thought that counts. I appreciate that he was willing to go through the effort to fix that for me. So anyway, now that that's down, it actually works. This works pretty well as a little cook grate. It's a little on the low side for me, but worked pretty well, and it made a really easy evening. Sometimes you just need to take a few minutes, stop and smell the roses type thing, or in this case, stop and cook the brats. So Kernigan is definitely a attention needy kitty. She definitely likes to be around wherever I am at. At times, she actually will follow me around. She followed me all the way up to the house site just the other day, which wouldn't have been a problem, but I was working on felling trees, so that made it a kind of a problem. We didn't get footage of it, but Emily got a couple of pictures of it, and coincidentally got pictures of the cat being scared off. As soon as I started spraying the fire, she decided she didn't want to be anywhere near there. So this is her running away Then Emily got another picture inadvertently, and she's gone. She's a good kitty. She's a noisy kitty sometimes, but she's a good kitty. Always good for a laugh, especially if you got a box. Kitty in a box is a real thing. So, anyway, well, there's our first. There's, our graded little fire pit area and our first burn in the fire pit. As always, thank you for your time. God bless you and yours, and stay safe out there.